Are we us? We've been hearing the word green a lot lately. The term going green is used when discussing environmental sustainability and saving the planet. Of course, green is a color often associated with things in nature. Certain company logos might also come to mind, no names mentioned. And though people in perfect health are said to be in the pink, we often think green when envisioning many healthful foods and even health itself. So many good things are indeed green. But there's something associated with the color green that's actually a sin. Some may guess that it's the love of money being the root of all evil. That does fit the bill, pardon the pun. But the focus of this video is another sin linked with green. It's envy. A well-known term, green with envy, has caused many to wonder, why green? There's debate over the color association origin. One theory surrounds the fact that general illness often turns skin pale. Thus, we can envision the heart illness of envy as turning skin a sickly gray-green, and each eye a glaring green. Others have said that skin can turn slightly green while experiencing intense emotions, like envy, due to excess bile being secreted right then. Either way, or another way, being envious is disastrous. From the book Patriarchs and Prophets, page 385, envy is one of the most satanic traits that can exist in the human heart. It was Lucifer's envy of Jesus that contributed to his rebellion and subsequently losing heaven. Now called Satan, he knows how terrible envy actually is and what its effects are. So he whispers thoughts of envy into human hearts, and we sometimes listen. He starts by suggesting feelings of discontent, which, if agreed with and nurtured, easily lead to one becoming jealous, envious, covetous. I used to think that jealousy and envy were the same thing. When I learned the word covetousness, I grouped it together with those two. Some who've known there's a difference think it's subtle, but there's actually quite a difference between being jealous, envious, and covetous. First, jealous. When we hear about jealous spouses, what comes to mind? People who wish they had their mate's wardrobe, hair, or fancy car? No, at least not usually. When people are labeled as jealous, it's because they're possessive. In the cases of couples, others flirting with their mates could feel threatening, especially in unstable relationships. Basically, jealous people don't want to lose what belongs to them. That's why God refers to himself as a jealous God. When he said as part of commandment number 1, "Thou shalt have no other gods before me," that jealousy was appropriate jealousy, for he doesn't want to lose us to other, quote, gods that wouldn't ever treat us well, false gods that couldn't care less for us, even if they were alive to care for us at all. God's jealousy is a measure of his seal for our happiness. Being envious, however, is different. God doesn't have any reason to be envious of any person. Unfortunately, we sometimes think that we do. Being envious and being covetous are indeed a bit linked, but with a twist. If people are envious of you, they wish they had your traits, your car, your job, your looks, things like that. Usually when people are green with envy, the focus is more on feeling bitter toward you for what you have than actually just wanting what you have. People who are covetous are the ones basically just wanting what you have. They might wish they had your things and even wish they could live your life, but without hating you for being alive. In considering those 3 words, I naturally wondered if I've suffered or am suffering from any or all of them. Regarding jealousy, now that I know what it really means, I don't think I'm overly worried that something or someone will be taken from me. Perhaps in my youth, I was afraid that someone would steal my best friend or my peanut butter sandwich. But as an adult, fully trusting in God, I don't think thoughts of losing anyone or anything keep me up at night. When it comes to envy, thankfully I can hopefully honestly say that I've not terribly envied anyone, at least not to the extent of harboring hatred. Again, perhaps in my unconverted youth, I may have, quote, hated someone due to envy. Then come recess, we were friends again. But as a born-again Christian, I figure that others have what they're meant to have and are how God made them for good reason, and that I have whatever I'm meant to have and am how God made me for good reason, trusting that all is part of God's perfect plan. So, apparently, jealousy and envy involving bitterness toward others aren't wrecking my life's record. However, I have to admit that I've definitely coveted what others have, be it possessions, talents, or traits. I'm grateful that such coveting hasn't crossed over the line into major envy, but coveting still isn't good. In fact, an often overlooked commandment, number 10, is about coveting what belongs to others. Some say that it's only when yearning for what others have to the point of obsession, and maybe becoming envy, that it's considered a sin. Others say that coveting in even the smallest degree is a sin to be repented of. So I hereby publicly confess and repent of the most recent instance of coveting. Since I've started 2 YouTube channels in 2010 and in 2024, I've actually coveted other YouTube channels. Not necessarily the content, for some of it is nonsense, but I've coveted their success. They get thousands of views, likes, comments, and subscribers, often for presenting ungodly things and overtly promoting themselves, and then get loads of money from allowing annoying ads. While my channels are purposely ad-free and are purposely free of self-promotion. If you ever sense on these channels any self-exaltation, self-glorification, or self-anything, feel free to notify me. Though this particular one might reveal some self-pity. I understand why there aren't many comments, shares, and likes. It's because some don't have many views. Some views are now in the double digits, but for several months, one video had 0. I've naturally wondered why. Wouldn't you? At first, I thought it could be the enemy of souls preventing souls from even seeing the thumbnails. Then I learned that there are literally billions of videos now on YouTube. If I didn't know that mine existed, I myself might never find them. But on a serious note, could the lack of views actually partly be due to my coveting? And maybe even bordering on bitterness? After all the work I've done, few views, boo-hoo. I'm thankful that God is so loving and forgiving that He's not counting this now confessed coveting against me. I pray that all covetousness, including all bitterness, will be ripped from my heart, and that I can be joyous instead of covetous. Not so the videos will suddenly go viral, though honestly I do wish they would, but so there will no longer be a block caused by my mistrust and impatience. I need to have more faith in God's plan and in His timing. He knows exactly who needs which video and exactly when. And if the Lord can hold up worlds, He can certainly guide His children, be it to my channels or the channels of others. And I hope to God that I really do mean that.